Hello, everybody. It's Ieva. I hope that you enjoy your day or your evening, depending on when you are watching this. Today, I want to address a kind of a difficult, challenging topic, and I want to talk about what fears or worries do we bring into tango. And I think it's really important to be able to talk about that, because when we're able to talk about it, we can then address those fears or worries, right? So I want to start by sharing my own experience, and I hope that, my experience will resonate with you. And it would help you to think about, okay, what are my own fears? What fears I am bringing, or what fears or worries I'm bringing into tango myself, and how can I navigate those fears, right? So, as I am a very friendly face and friendly person, and I always try to be kind and generous to people, and I'm always want to encourage and give compliments to people, right? I have this fear or this worry, especially communicating with men. In fact, communicating specifically with men and dancing with men, being with men, dancing with men, right? I had this fear of giving a wrong impression, an impression that leaves them thinking that I want something more than just, than just having a friendly exchange, friendly conversation, having a dance together, pleasant dance. When I give a compliment about their dancing abilities, I'm afraid that, they're going to take it in a wrong way. They're going to think that I'm there to just like seduce them or like them in some way, right? And so I don't really want to give that impression. So this is, and I think when we think about, again, you might have a very different worry or fear to mine, but what's important here is that when we have this fear, and we don't talk about it and we don't address it, it will affect our dance, right? It will affect, so in my instance, it will affect how present I can be for my partner. It will affect how much I can express myself into the dance, into the music. Maybe I want to hold myself back. Maybe suddenly I feel like following the music. I feel like expressing the music to the partner, but I'm afraid that they're going to take it in a wrong way, right? And so that will hold me back of really like expressing myself in a way that I like to express myself. Um, and And like I said, if you might have different situations. But I think what's important is that when we are able to talk about our fears, when we are able to share our fears with somebody else, or find a space where we can bring them up in a conversation with somebody else, we can take them to the conscious level, and we can understand ourselves better. We can understand where these fears are coming from, and then we can, with that understanding, we can recreate a different kind of conditions, which helps us feel safer in the same kind of environment, right? And so in my situation, and as I talk about, about my fear, what comes to my mind is that, there are situations where I feel unsafe, right, with men. Not in all situations, but in some situations, I feel especially threatened. Um, and there are certain situations where I feel less threatened, even if I have this intimate exchange with my partner. So it would help for me to understand, okay, what are the conditions that creates this huge threat, for me? And by understanding these conditions, I can then create, or I can take action. It will take a little bit of brainstorming and creativity, what kind of action I can take, right? But I can take that in my control, and I can create something for myself to make me feel less threatened, even in these situations that generally are most threatening to me. So here I really would like to kind of bring the point that when we have our fears at the back of our minds, right? So they are unconscious. We don't really think about it, but it's something at the back of our mind. And they're just sitting there. We're not doing anything about it. These fears will affect our relationship with people. These fears will affect how present we can be, and our interaction with the people, with the environment, with the tango, within the tango dance, within the milonga. And instead, we could have, when we understand these fears, we can actually recreate a very different experience for ourselves, because when it's not anymore at the back of our mind and we can think about it, it becomes then tangible. It becomes something that we can address, we can talk about, we can brainstorm. Okay, what is it that I can do here? I understand that, I understand that I have this. I understand where it's coming from. And I understand that there is a way where I can feel safer, where I can feel different. Um, and I can create that for myself. All right. So I guess I want to leave you with that thought, and I would love to encourage you to think about, is there something that you have at the back of your mind when you come into tango, when you come to milonga, when you come to a tango class? Is there something that you hold at the back of your mind? What is it, and where does it come from? Is there a way that you can address that? And then the second thing I want to also talk about is that space, that space where we often need to have a conversation with somebody about that issue, about the fear, about the worry that we have, right? And we are hosting an event with Dancing Conversation, which is called Confronting Your Fear to Get the Dances That You Want. And we invited Yelizaveta Serserova, who is a tango teacher in Los Angeles. She's amazing. She has a podcast and she talks about similar kind of topics, similar issues. She's very conscious, spirit, and I just love her energy. And on the 10th of November, we will host an event with Elizaveta, and she will talk about her experience, but at the same time, it will be a space for you to be able to exchange with people, to be able to talk about your experiences. where we finally can start talking openly and honestly about things that really hold us back. So I would really like to invite you to come. And it's a free event, and I will share the link. um, I will share the link in the comment below, and I look forward to seeing you then. In the meantime, take care, have a great week. And if you have any questions about what I talked about, please reach me out. I'm always willing and wanting to connect with you. So yeah, please do feel free to do that. All right, take care. Bye bye.